Thing, Wayne's World. What you talking about over there? I don't know what we talking about. The Trezzo. You talking about the truth? I don't know what y'all be on. It's time for watch some world geopolitical politics, world politics, as it's an awakening of our people. Because that same energy you see over here, you see it going on with your God's people are awakening. That's who we are. Now, this for a certain sound. I hear a lot of people on these internet highways and byways. I was talking about as far as donating to some of these sites, and I'm like, I don't know, fam, because I'm not sure if something go down and I need you, and are you gonna be there? And they speak a certain spiritual rhythm they operate in. And it's not based on no world religion, no yoga, no none of that stuff you hear now here. I hear a lot of people speaking about being chosen, but like I said, many are called. There's a lot of those that are called saying they chosen, to be. That's what I take it as, chosen to be in that army. You receive the word and you believe it, and that's who you are. You set your heart on things of the Most High, and that's what you're doing. Anything else? I don't know about that. A lot of people be adding and remixing. I don't get down like that, and for that very reason, you're not gonna see me on too many sites or really kicking it with too many people. People say I'll change, I'm different. And I don't deny that. Different on purpose or you just being difficult. No, it's the reason for the season, family. We're gonna wake them up to the truth. It's a reason for the season, family. This ain't no, I'm just coming on here saying some stuff. Oh, we talking about you woke and this and that. No, that's the truth. I'm compelled to come on here and testify this word because that's what's in me. That's my story. I don't got no motion. This is greater than motion picture. It's the greatest other story ever told about the children of Israel. That's what it's about. All that other stuff, second. That comes second. You got to establish the kingdom. That's what I mean by we looking for a certain message. It comes with a certain vibration. That vibration is the spirit. Spirit of that conversation. What is it based on? What is it rooted in? It's its foundation. And what is your purpose for even doing all this? Are you called? Sure is. Many are called. Few are chosen. And we are that chosen people of the Most High. Ain't no doubt in that. Don't make me go get my Bible on you. Get my Bible and open a can of understanding around here. You did? We need understanding. We're going to watch this as a guest. Let's get to it. Black Americans are boycotting Christmas and white folks are furious. For what? Reaction videos to what I see going on. Are these videos worth having a conversation about when we know the hour that we're in? You hear me talking about the Most High and coming into who we truly are in essence. So, hold on. down everything. Yeah, we took the Torah. We did that. Yes, we did. We had to take control of the kingdom. We don't take control of the word, first of all. What's entering our minds, we in trouble because they ain't got a clue, fam. They showing you, they talking about who's chosen and this and that, but man, we're gonna let the spirit speak. The spirit speaks in ways that can no man deny the truth. I don't care who you are. I don't have no long dissertation for you. Truth is truth is truth is truth. And when I'm hearing Black Americans shake the U.S. economy with mass Christmas, yeah, about time. But don't do it just because, yes, that time of the awakening, competition or a destiny swap. Black Americans finally address Jamaicans and other immigrants. No, Black Americans need to wake the hell up and get off that and realize, I don't want to hear that. This is a topic, a hot topic. And we got to stop that. Y'all act like y'all don't understand. Some of us, do your DNA, man. Damn. Some of us has dropped off before. All that does is cause division. The most how you talking about we chose and we awakened, there ain't gonna be no division. Maybe a little misunderstanding here and there, but then you have to study to show yourself approved, fam. You can't come out there speaking and you don't know the time. Like a lot of people out here preaching. They don't know that word, fam. They don't know nothing about the God of Israel or what's going on. They not establishing no kingdom. They don't even know that the word is now. Touch not is anointed. Was not a suggestion. No, it wasn't. Supposed to be going in on their ass. Abraham Torre, T.O. Andrew Holness. How can you loan generators to suffering? Yeah, the cat is out of the bag. Americans' hilarious reaction to Trump giving Bill Clinton and a wild twist of FSDP's. Look, I know all them videos y'all putting out there. Y'all need to slow down a little bit. But it's meant to happen. It should have happened. Kanye was right. My life is in danger. Man, stay out them people backyard. And what y'all keep playing they why God protects Black Americans in every crisis. And that's what I want to hear. Because all this black and man, stop. The Maroons. I hear a lot of people saying no, the Maroons come out of Africa, fam. West Africa. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't no Maroons. They were shipped over there. Some of them probably was, but the origin of them is in Africa. Do your DNA. Do the knowledge, family. Don't do what nobody telling you. Do your own research. I ain't just saying something. I'm gonna show you and prove it. Foundation of Black Americans. No, I ain't none of that. Mm-mm. None of your brainwashed ass Negro that deny the truth, man. You gotta do your DNA. Because Jamaicans and black, that's cool. We do got some African and China unite. Yeah. We do got some brothers and sisters that's brainwashed. Sisters be on it too. I see she with the protocol of what's going on. All the sons and daughters of God should be awakening, but it's not about just Black America. You gotta have that anointing. That's what's gonna separate. That's why I say it's a lot of videos out here, which is good, but you gotta be careful with that narrative when we steady constantly harping on the same thing. Big retailers closing stores across America. Nobody paying attention to none of that, but America ain't under judgment. Right. America is unlawful, so he is naturally under judgment. America is antichrist. You pass laws that God said thou shalt not. These boogers do it. No, come out. And then allowing the people to come out, them the people that's woke. If you're not keeping God's law, you're not woke. God put a law on your booty. A man's butt has an area where it exits. You dump out waste. So that's a law. It don't change. No matter how much man tries to change the assignment of it, God's law, Florida released robotic rabbits to kill. What? People doing a lot of dumb stuff. Yeah, you know that's video because that shit don't happen. You don't belong here. Go back to your country. Karen arrested and fined for racist attack on senior black citizen at grocery store. Y'all better stop doing that shit. You might be a Latino. That's crazy. That's my movie, yeah. Jason Bourne. hmm The Bourne Experience. I love that movie. I'm gonna watch it again because that's how Julie is. That's how Julie is gonna be on the enemies of the armies of Israel. Yeah, we as battle axes. I ain't showing you this stuff for nothing. I was just reading Samuel chapter 7 about Gideon and the 300. I remember reading that story when I was little, but because I listened to the world and the TV, thugs thought he was just a security guard until he snapped. Look, yes, I'm like, okay, because you listening to all this outside interfering, my wife said, don't scold my daughters, take care of your own. I disappeared. Exactly. Name my wife, she just wants somebody to rule over. She's an unruly, out of order person. I'm gonna whoop your kid's ass. I'm gonna do more than scold. So don't have them around me. That means we're not gonna have a relationship. You living under my roof, I'm paying the bills and out here working for you to better your life, to love you, to be kind and patient. I ain't just whooping a woman to know. She'll know. She know your track record. No, I'm gonna whoop your ass. And if mama don't like it, all y'all can go. And it's just like that on my mama. Y'all can beat it. Take you and your mama with you. And I put that on everything I love. Because I want millions in the lottery decided not to tell anyone. I don't blame you. Because they're going to hate on you. And feel like a lot of them going to hate on you. They're going to feel like you never should have got it. Fair use copyright. I'm 32 years old. Fair use copyright. Fair use copyright. I'm going to check this out because I'm going to come into some paper. But I'm going to let them know. Y'all got the wrong. First of all, yes, you should earn your own money and be happy about it and be strong in it. But people don't understand. You looking at it like it's mine, it's mine. God blesses and expands you for a reason. Not so you can hoard up this treasure and be like, oh Lord knows if I got this. Oh yeah, we know, yes, your generations you ensure. But God is it will enlarge you because first of all, you're using kingdom law. You're using his word, which is law, economics, financial, tactics, and things they use to acquire wealth is based on God's law. You know, we see it all day, but we don't equate it. That's like with the flour. So there's a greater at work. That's like with the dollar. You use the fiat note. There's no intricate value to it. But you trust and have faith in this thing that it's gonna work. That's how the kingdom works. But there's evidence. You know, there's evidence to back a tree, a seed being planted and bringing forth life, a harvest. Ain't nothing coming back from that dollar. Yeah, you can bring something back from it, Or are you gonna bring something back that's an asset, or you're a liability to yourself? You using it just to pay bills instead of using it like I have to learn. Hell no, I spend my money. I always trust me. I spend my money on something that's gonna bring some money back. You say what you want to say. I ain't trying to keep up with broke people. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a shit what you got. It ain't yours. You burn it. You know, you can have the biggest home. You don't own that land. So that's not yours. You just leasing that motherfucker. You paying property taxes, right? So I know you don't own it. Call me a big hater or whatever. I don't give a shit. Because when you miss a few payments, guess what happens? Your ass gone. So you don't own it. I listen to the billionaire. So I'm not caught up in all of that. Own nothing and control everything. You can invest in that market. People need homes. Invest in that market. They have real estate bonds. Invest in it. What the hell? But be careful because, like I was talking to my buddy, I wanted to tell him some information because I'm sure y'all seen my videos where I've tapped into the real estate market. And right now, the insurance and then natural disaster states that they really propping up and selling. People, a lot of people are burning to these states. But because of these natural disasters and the consistency of them and the damage, and a lot of these states don't even have multiple insurance companies operating within them no more. You know? Then I'm seeing this one company in Florida. It's like it's the only damn insurance company. Like, what the fuck? Because investors are not putting all that money into that insurance like that because of the uncertainty of the natural disasters. And then look at how frequent they are. It's not like it's a span. This stuff happens every year and all year now. So it's constant damage. The land is constantly being pounded, and that reverberates. That even reverberates in the structure. Structural damage we may not see, but they know it's there. That's why the insurance companies hiked up their insurance rates. In most cases, they left the states. They not even providers. I'm like, what? Florida, look it up. I'm not lying. Florida is a hot real estate market. But right now, it's being cooled down in such a way people not paying attention to the economics. People stay talking about buying homes. And it's, okay, that's cool. I'm not hating nothing. It's a process. They have a way like where you can do deals with directly with owners. You know, set up a payment plan or however y'all set up a payment plan to make the deal, to get it done, push through. So I'm not hating. I'm looking at how once you was in this so-called perfect world of America, now it's so much uncertainty and things are changing at a pace that we ain't keeping up with. Think about it. Y'all need to pay attention to real estate. It'll tell you a lot. Yes, people gonna buy homes. I'm not saying they're gonna buy homes, but look at the people. When you have the head of Berkshire telling you Hathaway and Berkshire Hathaway, what's his name? The rich guy. He buys a lot of property. When he telling you slow down, yeah, I think you want Warren Buffett. Been active, successful investor. These people buy the bonds and control them. Housing market has bonds. People need homes. Somebody got to provide. So there are bonds you can invest in to, own a piece of the market that's producing this, that's building these homes, manufacturing and building. You got all the things that it takes to make a building. to you got all it's a lot of in betweens. And then it comes down to insuring that home. People want insurance on their home. So somebody with a better way of insuring or understand that old fiat currency system is not going to do it because that's what your system is based upon. And therefore, there's no security. You got at the same time, you got many actors that's at play that people don't pay attention to, which is detrimental to our economy right now. People not paying attention, and it's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you dearly. I'm glad my buddy paid attention to it because he was talking about his real estate, which I pray it works for him. But I'm looking at the long term. I'm looking at short term and long term problems. Insurance, high rates on loans. You want to get a loan. I guarantee you that loan is gonna be crazy. Think about it: $300,000 loan, $500,000 loan. I'm looking at the numbers on some people. I mean, I'm not even gonna say that's a scale, but they have a scale. I seen a company that's lending, and they have a scale that they operate on where you can pay monthly, depending on the level of the loan. But bottom line, you can pay it monthly. Fair use copyright. Let's check this out. That I just needed $2,000 to keep my apartment. Man, I wouldn't ask my family for nothing. My brother Jamal laughed out loud, and his wife Ashley slurped into her wine glass. My mother just sighed and told me to stop being dramatic. They had no idea I was testing them. And they had no idea that in my new private bank account, there was a balance of over $45 million. Wow! Before I tell you don't pay to be ugly to people. Their worst nightmare, let me know where you are watching from in the comments. And if you've ever felt like the only responsible one in your family, hit that like and subscribe button. You will want to see what happens next. The story really started 3 weeks ago. The air inside my 2011 Honda Civic was hot and sticky. I was parked in the back lot of the dental clinic where I worked as an admin. Congratulations! You have won $88,000. I stared at the number. $88 million. Wow! I didn't scream. I didn't cry. What? I didn't even smile. I just locked the screen, closed my eyes, and took one long, deep breath. The kind of breath you take when a heavy weight you've been carrying your whole life is finally suddenly lifted. What? You ain't got to worry about paying no bills. My phone buzzed again. This time, the screen lit up with a text from my mom, Brenda. I'm helping everybody. The text read, Jamal's car broke down. Need you to send him $1 million apiece for the repair. Now. I'm gone. I looked at the $88 million notification. Then I looked at the $200 demand. This was my family. My brother Jamal, 34 years old and perpetually between projects. My mother who saw him as the golden child and saw me as the emergency fund. A strange coldness settled over me. It wasn't anger. It was clarity. I stared at Mom's text message, the blinking cursor, the demanding, now. I deleted the message. I turned the key in the ignition. The old engine rattled to life. I didn't drive to the lottery office. I didn't drive home to celebrate. I opened the Instacart app, accepted the next grocery order for a stranger, and drove to Publix. My silence was the first weapon I ever used. 1 week later, everything had changed, and nothing had changed. I had done everything right. I found a high-powered lawyer in Buckhead, not some guy from a billboard. I created an anonymous LLC just like he said. I chose the lump sum payment. After all the federal and state taxes, the final wire transfer had cleared just yesterday. $45,400,000. My lawyer, Mr. Washington, had shaken my hand. He said, "Congratulations, Miss Carter. Your life is about to change." But when I got back to my small one-bedroom apartment, the one I worked 2 jobs to afford, my new life, felt very far away. Taped to my door was a bright orange envelope. The notice from my landlord. The new corporate owners were raising the rent by $300 effective the first of the month. I stood there holding the notice, the smell of old carpet and my neighbors cooking in the air.
That $300 increase used to mean panic. It used to mean picking up extra shifts, eating ramen noodles for a week, that awful tight feeling in my chest. Now it meant nothing, but seeing it brought something else back. I remembered being 18 years old. I was standing in my childhood bedroom. My mother Brenda was there. She was holding my college savings book, the one I'd had since I was 10, the one with $5,000 I'd saved from bagging groceries. Her voice was firm, not unkind, but absolute. Imani, you have to understand. Jamal is a man. He has an opportunity to start his own record label.
Wow.
This is an investment in the family's future.
Wow.
I begged her.
Girl, pay your
But
daughter
Mom, that's my
rent.
tuition money.
I
got
wouldn't
the
have told. I
scholarship,
would
but
have
still
told him
need it
though.
for books, for the dorm deposit. You're smart, Imani, she'd said, patting my arm before closing the book and taking it.
Wow.
You'll figure it out.
Wow.
I did figure it out.
Cut
I
y'all
took out
ass
loans.
off.
I worked 3 jobs. I never got that $5,000 back. Jamal's record label lasted 6 months and produced one terrible mixtape.
Wow.
Back in the present, I looked at the $300 rent notice. I looked at my phone with its $45 million banking limit. The old pain, that familiar sting of being the backup plan, rose up in my throat. This wasn't just about money. It was about the truth.
I buy you a
I unlocked
home.
my phone. I went
I
to
would
the
have
family
built me a
group chat,
home. Bought me
and I
some
started
land.
to type. I typed out the biggest lie I'd ever told, a lie that felt more true than anything. I was about to set a test, and I already knew deep in my bones that they were all about to fail. The setting for the test was perfect.
You do different though.
Sunday dinner,
That's what I don't
the
understand.
one
Us.
sacred tradition in our family. I walked into my mother's house in East Atlanta.
I feel y'all family. I would have in the past probably tried to put my people to the test, but I understand the mindset that our people in. And I wouldn't withhold nothing. I would give them. I would gave all of them at least $1 million. I sure would have. Give it to them. Or give them 500,000. Make them millionaires. You got 44 million. You got 3, 4 family members. Man, make all them millionaires. Y'all happy, everybody good. You can live. And they ass can live. And I'm through with that. I wouldn't, no, I'm not gonna do to them what they did to me because that's not what I'm on. Real talk. Now, to each his own. If that's what you choose to do, hey, do you. But I get more out of helping them and making sure they secure. If they blow it, that's on them. That's the choice they made. But I'm gonna hit them. That ain't me for me to withhold no blessing. No. I hate when people do that. I do not like that. Like, no, God bless you and enlarge you. Help your people so they can overcome. Yeah, we know their dispositions, but have they tried to kill you or something? They ain't got no damn money. They selfish with
Smells
it.
hit me immediately. Fried chicken, sweet, smoky collard greens, and the sharp cheddar of her famous mac and cheese. It was the smell of home. But it always felt like someone else's
I wish I
home.
had that kind of money.
Jamal
I'd
was
choke it.
already at the table holding court. His wife Ashley sat beside him, twisting her ring. Ashley was white, and she never missed a chance to remind us that she was marrying down by being with Jamal, even as she spent money he didn't have.
What?
So the guy in Aruba, Jamal was saying, leaning back in his chair, he says $5,000 all inclusive for the entire week. We're talking baby moon, baby. Ashley giggled, placing a hand on her perfectly flat stomach. It's just 5K, not a big deal. We deserve it before the baby comes. My mother Brenda beamed at them from the stove. That's right. My grandbaby deserves the best.
Mm.
This was my moment. The laughter, the casual talk of $5,000. I cleared my throat. I'm in big trouble. The room went silent. All eyes turned to me. This was not part of the Sunday script. I let my hands tremble just a little. I looked at the floor. The clinic cut my hours back, and my landlord just raised my rent. I'm going to be evicted. They gave me 48 hours. Ashley's face soured like she'd smelled something bad. I looked directly at my mother. I just need $2,000, just to hold the apartment. I'll pay it back, I swear. Every penny. The silence stretched. Then Jamal barked out a laugh. It was a loud, ugly sound. $2,000? He scoffed, shaking his head. Lil sis, you gotta learn how to manage your money. I thought you were working 2 jobs. What happened to all that Instacart cash, huh? I looked at my mother for help. Her face was a mask of annoyance. She didn't even look at me. She just turned back to the stove, grabbing the platter of chicken. Imani, she said, her voice sharp. Don't come in here and make everyone feel bad with your money problems. It's Sunday. Just eat. She slid the platter onto the table right in front of Jamal and sat down. As if I hadn't spoken. As if I wasn't even there. I waited until Jamal stepped out onto the front porch, supposedly to get some air. The screen door slammed shut behind me with a familiar rattling thwack. The humid Atlanta night air felt heavy, a stark contrast to the loud, bright warmth of the house. Inside, I could already hear the sounds of the Sunday night football game starting up the volume on that new TV, already too loud. Jamal was leaning against the porch railing, his back to me, scrolling through his phone. He was probably checking his fantasy league. He was always busy with something that produced nothing. Jamal. My voice sounded weak, even to my own ears. It was the voice of the old Imani, the one who was about to be evicted. He turned his face already creased with annoyance. What Imani, I'm trying to relax here. You really killed the vibe in there. This was the hardest part. Not winning the money, but this. Having to beg, even as an act. But I had to see it through. I had to know. I wrapped my arms around myself. I'm serious, Jamal. I'm not playing. I'm scared. I just need $2,000. Just to stop the eviction. I'll pay you back, I swear. Next month, as soon as I get my checks. He let out that sharp barking laugh he always did. The one he reserved for me, the one that said, "You're so stupid." $2,000, he scoffed, shaking his head as he pushed himself off the railing. Seriously, Imani, you just don't get it, do you? He puffed out his chest, tapping it with his finger. Priorities. You gotta have priorities. He leaned in as if sharing a big secret. Ashley's pregnant. He said the word pregnant like it was a royal announcement, a get-out-of-jail-free card for life. I'm about to be a father Imani. I have to save my money for my child, for my family. I can't be bailing you out every time you mess up. You need to stop being so irresponsible. Irresponsible. That was the word. It landed like a match on gasoline.
Wow.
Before I could even form a reply, the screen door creaked open again. This time it was Ashley. She slinked out onto the dark porch, wrapping her arms around Jamal's, her white skin almost glowing in the dim yellow porch light. She gave me that slow, pitying look, the one that went right through me, the one that said, "You poor, pathetic thing." "Imani Kunga," she cooed, her voice dripping with that fake syrupy sweetness. "Listen to your brother. He has real priorities now." She looked me up and down, her eyes lingering on my work-issued polo. "It's not that damp down there. Or, you know." She paused, tapping her chin.
What?
"Maybe it's time you found a boyfriend with a better job. Someone who can take care of you.
Oh,
Just
wow.
stop bothering my husband with your problems."
Oh,
My
yeah.
hands hidden in the dark at my sides clenched into fists. My nails dug into my palms. The humiliation was so hot, it felt like acid rising in my throat. I could feel the $45 million secret burning a hole in my mind. Irresponsible. My
They
voice was
say
low. It didn't tremble this time.
They are
They
sad.
both looked at me, surprised by the sudden change in tone.
Mm.
You want to talk about irresponsible, Jamal? I took a step closer into the light.
Get his ass.
I paid your Geico car insurance bill for the last 3 months. $486. The money I was saving for my electric bill. I paid it so they wouldn't repossess that stupid black Charger you can't afford. Jamal's smirk faltered. That was a temporary...
Took
I'm
my
not
ass.
finished, I said, cutting him off. The rage was cold and clear. You want to talk about priorities? Last month, Jamal, I drained my entire savings account. The last $1,500 I had, the money I was saving for new tires so my car would pass inspection. I looked past him through the living room window at the bright blue glow of the new television on the wall. I drained it to pay off Mom's Best Buy credit card. The credit card you maxed out to buy that 70-inch TV you're all in there watching the game on right now. There was a satisfying flash of panic in Ashley's eyes.
Yeah.
She knew it was true. Jamal just stared at me, his face hardening. He was trapped. He had no facts, no defense. So he did what he always does. He changed the rules. He shrugged a slow, deliberate motion. He pulled Ashley closer to him like a shield. That's called family Imani. His voice was cold again, dismissive. That's what you're supposed to do. You're the sister. You're supposed to look out for us. That's your job. He turned his back on me completely. Now I'm busy. I've got a baby on the way and this night air is bad for Ashley. He and Ashley opened the screen door. The bright light and the sound of the crowd cheering on the TV washed over the porch for a second. And then the door slammed shut again, the little thwack of the lock clicking into place, leaving me alone, in the dark. I stood there, my heart pounding, not with sadness, but with something new, something cold and clear and very, very patient.
Cut their ass
The
out.
test wasn't over, but I had my first answer, and it was exactly what I expected.
But you
I left the
still,
porch, the
sis,
screen
you
door clicking
baiting
shut
them
behind me,
into it.
the sound of Jamal's rejection echoing in my ears.
Now, if you told them you had all that, you would get a different response.
I walked past down the narrow hallway.
That's
toward the
crazy,
kitchen.
but yeah, it's
I knew
showing
my
they
mother would
weak.
be there. The kitchen was warm and smelled of
I
baked
still
brown
look
sugar
out for
and
'em. I
savory
wouldn't do that.
spices. My
I
mother
would not do
was
that.
at the counter, her back to me. She was scraping the leftover mac and cheese from the heavy glass baking dish
My
into a
mama.
large plastic Tupperware container. Next to it, another container was already piled high with fried chicken wings. She was packing up the best parts. I knew without having to ask that this food wasn't for her.
Jamal.
It was for Jamal and Ashley. It was always for Jamal and Ashley. Mom. She didn't turn around. She just sighed a long, tired sound. What is it, Imani? Can't you see I'm busy cleaning up? Mom, I really need help. My voice cracked. The humiliation was a physical thing, bitter and hot. I'm not being dramatic. I've never asked you for anything like this before, ever. She stopped scraping. She put the spoon down with a sharp clap on the granite countertop. She turned around, wiping her hands on her apron. Her face wasn't soft. It wasn't concerned.
Wow.
It was just tired, annoyed. You are always being dramatic, Imani, she said, her voice flat. Ever since you were a little girl, always one crisis after another. This isn't a crisis, Mom. This is real. $2,000. She cut me off, holding up a hand. Where do you think I'm going to get $2,000 from? Do I look like I have money growing on trees? I'm on a fixed income, Imani. My retirement money is my retirement money.
Oh, okay.
She turned back to the container, snapping a plastic lid onto the mac and cheese.
Okay.
She said the next words to the leftovers, not to me. That money has to last. I have to think about Jamal. He's about to have a baby. He's starting a family.
What?
She finally looked at me, her eyes sweeping over me from my old sneakers to my tired face. What about you, huh? 32 years old, still living in that tiny apartment. No husband, no kids, just 2 jobs that can't even pay your rent. Every word was a perfectly aimed dart. Every word was designed to remind me of my place, my cheek.
They can give
I
a
wiped
shit
it
less
away,
about
angry
you.
at my own weakness.
Not me, everybody.
your daughter, too.
You might not hear
It
me
came
talking
out
about
as a
stuff
whisper.
like that, but
I didn't even know if she
I
heard
can
it,
relate,
but
sis.
she did. She stopped what she was doing. She
I
turned
can
to face
relate.
me fully. Her expression was hard, the lines around her mouth tight.
I don't even ask them
Then
people
act like
for
one, she said, her voice dropping sharp and cold.
Wow.
Act like a daughter and handle your own business. A grown woman doesn't come running to her mother crying about rent money.
Oh,
You solve your
wow.
own problems. You don't bring your trouble here and lay it at my feet. I've got enough to worry about with your brother. She had made her decision,
Okay.
just like that. The gavel had fallen. I was not her problem. I was just trouble. I stood there frozen. I couldn't breathe. This was it. This was the answer. The final nail. The test was over. I had failed. Or rather, they had. I turned to leave. I had nothing left to say. My throat was closed. Look at her. Speaking of money, she said, her voice casual again, as if she hadn't just shattered me. There's that business with Big Mama's old house in Vine City. I tensed. Big Mama's house. My grandmother's house. The one place I ever felt safe. The one thing she left behind for all of us. What about it? I asked, my voice hollow. The property tax bill just came in, she said, scrubbing the baking dish now. $3,000. It's just sitting there rotting. Nobody's lived in it for years. It's a waste. I heard her turn off the faucet. So your brother, she said, impatient. Jamal knows a guy, an investor. He can get it done fast. We just need to pay those taxes first, then we can unload it. We could all use the money. I finally turned around. Yes, she said. In case you forgot, Big Mama in all her wisdom left the house to all three of us. 1/3 for me, 1/3 for Jamal, and 1/3 for you. She dried her hands, her eyes locking on mine, and in that moment I saw it. The calculation, the angle. So, she said, her voice suddenly a little bit nicer. We're going to need your signature, Amani. You're going to have to sign the papers to sell. I got back into my car, the old Honda Civic. The engine started with a familiar tired rattle. I didn't drive away. I just sat there, parked on the dark street outside my mother's house. Through the closed windows, I could hear the muffled sound of the football game and a burst of high-pitched laughter. It was probably Ashley. I was bad at home. I wouldn't say nothing. I was bad at home. Straight cash them out. Give 'em my chop. Take what y'all got coming, your thirds. I'll holler. I wouldn't say nothing. And buy the house. Creeps. My hands were shaking. Get rid of my mama house. My big mama house. But from a deep, cold rage. Yeah. My mother's words, handle your own business. Okay. And Jamal's, that's your job, echoed in my head. They had failed spectacularly. But the test wasn't complete. There were others. People I had helped. People I had sacrificed for. I pulled out my phone. The screen lit up my face in the darkness. I scrolled through my contacts past Jamal and Mom. I'm calling everybody. Until I found Tasha, cousin. I remembered Tasha 2 years ago showing up at my apartment door with 2 suitcases and her 2 small children, her eyes swollen shut. Wow. Her husband had put her out. I didn't hesitate. I let them live with me for 6 months. Yes. 6 months on my tiny couch. 6 months of me buying extra groceries, paying for extra utilities, listening to her cry at night. I never asked her for a dime. I pressed the call button. She picked up on the 3rd ring, sounding out of breath. Hey, Moni. What's up, girl? Hey, Tasha, I said, forcing my voice to sound small, desperate. I'm in a really bad spot. A really, really bad spot. Oh, Lord, what happened, you good? I'm about to be evicted. Tasha. I said the fake words, feeling like ash in my mouth. My landlord is kicking me out. I just need $2,000 to stop it. I'll pay you back, I swear. The line went silent for a moment. All I could hear was a TV game show in the background. Oh, damn, girl, Tasha finally said, her voice changing. 2,000, whoo, I ain't got it. You know Keon's braces just cost me $800. I am broke. I closed my eyes. I understand. I didn't know who else to call. But wait, hold up, she said, her voice brightening. I do know this one spot, over on Main Street. It's one of them payday loan places. Now the interest is crazy. I'm talking like 400%. It's a total scam. But if you're really desperate like that, they'll give you the cash today. She was offering me a trap. She was offering me a path to ruin, just to get me off the phone. My stomach turned. No, I said, my voice cold. No, that's okay, Tasha. That's sad. I'll figure something out. Thanks anyway. That's how a lot of black cops I hung up before she could say another word. I
It's
sat
crazy.
there, my thumb hovering over the next name.
Hmm.
Uncle Kevin, my mother's brother,
He gonna
6
help
months
you.
ago. He called me at 2 in the morning. He couldn't breathe. He said he had chest pains and was scared. His wife, now his ex-wife, was out of town. I knew she was just at a casino. I told him not to move. I got in the same car and drove 3 hours south to his house in Macon, my heart pounding the whole way. I got him to the hospital, held his hand while he cried, and sat with him in the ER until 12 hours later, when his wife finally bothered to show up, smelling like cigarettes and perfume. The doctor told me if I had waited up immediately, his voice booming. Amani niece, how you doing, baby girl? Uncle Kevin. I started my voice thick.
Uncle Kevin
I-
gonna make it happen.
I'm in
Shit.
trouble, Uncle Kevin.
What
I
you
wouldn't
need,
ask
baby
if it
girl?
wasn't a real emergency.
Uncle Wayne gonna go and
I
tear
told
building
him the same
down.
story.
Hey.
The rent, the eviction, the $2,000. The booming warmth in his voice vanished. It was replaced by a cautious, distant tone. Oh, now that's a tough one, niece, he said,
He
drawing the
probably
words out.
broke.
2,000. Whew. You know this economy? It's just real
So
tight right now.
don't.
For everybody, real tight. And as he was saying the words, I heard it in the background, unmistakably. The loud, high-pitched commentary of a sports announcer, the artificial roar of a crowd, the sharp digital sounds of a video game. It was coming through his television, that big 70-inch high-definition television, the one I had paid for. I wish I could help you, Imani. I surely do. He continued
Sell
his
the
voice
damn
full of
TV.
fake sympathy. But you gotta learn to stand on your own 2 feet, you know? A lesson we all gotta learn. I didn't say goodbye.
That's why
I didn't say okay. I didn't say anything. I just pressed the.
I stay pushing my videos. Baby, why you always making videos? What they like? Who you think? Look, I think I'm trying to reach people with information that I know that if they pay a small fee for, they can get things done the right way. That's why I make videos. I don't think I'm no fucking superstar. I am a star. I'm an Israelite. We are the star seeds of Yahuwah. Stop playing with me. You know, they be killing me. People just, and I'm like, I feel that way. This is my story. You know what I'm saying? Vicariously. Real talk. Because I know what I'm doing, and we gonna get bread. If we invest in what I'm doing, I see long term longevity success. Yeah, you gonna have your times where it slow down and pick up and all that, but the rhythm is eternal because of the spirit that's on our people. And we doing business. A lot of us understand the importance of doing business, black business, but you don't have no black business. Black business is sending us to knock on somebody else door to do business. A lot of people don't even trust in what we're capable of doing. That's because that's a reflection of themselves. I can fix that, and I fix them. That's what I do. So it is what it is, but I feel them. That's just how people are. I'm like, damn, I wish I could have lenders. Everybody else do this, do that. Get a job. Quit that. Ooh, yeah, be more consistent. Ooh, consistent for who? What I'm doing is long term. This is for me, my children, and their children. Y'all don't read the Bible. God said you better do something right now. He didn't say later, right now. And he didn't say go get no damn credit for them. They need something where they can overcome the world. God's people don't follow lockstep with what the world is doing. That's not inheritance. That's not wealth. Y'all crazy.
The end call button on my steering wheel, cutting him off mid-sentence. I dropped the phone onto the passenger seat, and I just sat there in the total, absolute silence of my car. The
So
test
just
was
live
complete.
your life.
The results were in. I was right. I was completely, totally, utterly alone.
I said
A
the
wave of
same
despair
thing for
so
my
heavy it
son.
stole my breath washed over
I
me.
know my son.
It wasn't
love
about the
me.
$2,000. It wasn't about the apartment. I could buy the whole building.
Hmm.
I could buy the whole street. It was about this truth. The fact that not one single person I had ever sacrificed for would lift a single finger for me.
Hmm.
The last tear I would ever cry for them slid down my
You
hot
better
cheek.
know it,
I wiped it away, not with sadness,
but
but with
with
a new,
gladness.
terrifying, crystal clear purpose. The test was over. And now,
Game on.
now the real plan could begin. I drove for hours. I didn't have an Instacart order. I just drove. North on 75, then cutting across 285, the lights of Atlanta blurring into meaningless streaks of red and white. My phone was silent on the passenger seat. My family's rejection was a physical weight pressing down on my chest, making it hard to
Let
breathe.
that go.
They had all failed. My brother, my mother, my cousin, my uncle. The list of people I had bled for and the list of people who would let me bleed out were exactly the same. The despair I felt was cold and deep. It wasn't about the $2,000. I knew I was safe. But the lie felt real. The eviction felt real. The idea of being homeless, of having nowhere to turn, was the truth of my life up until 3 weeks ago. And my family had just confirmed it. I don't even know how I got there. My hands just steered the car, the old muscle memory taking over. I found myself parked on a quiet, dimly lit street in the West End outside the Harmony Senior Lofts. It was an old, clean, but very worn down brick building. I turned off the engine. I sat in the silence. I wasn't going to ask her for money. I couldn't. But I needed to see a kind face. I needed to be in a room that didn't feel hostile. I walked up the 3 flights of stairs. The elevator had been broken for as long as I could remember. I knocked on apartment 3B. The door opened and the smell of sweet buttery cornbread washed over.
Grandmama.
Imani child, Ms. Evelyn stood in the doorway. She was 68, but her eyes were sharp and clear behind her thin-rimmed glasses. She was wearing a house dress and an apron, and her gray hair was pulled back in a neat bun. Miss Evelyn had been my big mama's best friend for 50 years. My family always called her that strange old woman. They thought she was odd because she lived, simply didn't gossip, and always spoke her mind. Hi, Miss Evelyn, I whispered. I'm sorry to bother you so late. She just looked at me, her gaze taking in my puffy eyes and the tremor in my hands. She didn't say anything. She just opened the door wider and stepped aside. You ain't bothering me. I'm just wrapping up corn muffins for the church bake sale. Come on in.
She gonna take care
Her
of you.
apartment was tiny. A small living room, a smaller kitchen,
She the
but it
one.
was spotless.
And that's who
Toilettes
you
covered
take
the
care
arms
of.
of the old floral print
They
sofa. Pictures of Jesus and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. hung on the wall side by side.
That's auntie.
And on the little dining table, there were dozens
They
of
love their
oil-wrapped
Jesus,
corn
don't
muffins. I sat on the sofa, and the dam just broke. I told her everything. Not the lottery part, I couldn't. But I told her the rest. The truth, the rent increase, the 48-hour eviction notice, the fear. And then I told her about the Sunday dinner, about Jamal's laughter, about Ashley's cruel suggestions, about my mother's coldness, about her turning her back on me. Miss Evelyn just listened. She didn't stop her work. Her hands, worn and dark, moved steadily, tearing off squares of aluminum foil, wrapping each muffin with care, placing it in a big cardboard box. She didn't interrupt. She didn't gasp. She didn't say,
taking it
oh
all
no, she
in.
didn't. She just listened, her silence a warm, safe blanket. When I finished, my voice was raw, my throat tight. I don't know what to do, I lied. I have nowhere to go. Miss Evelyn placed the last muffin in the box and slowly taped it shut. She wiped her hands on her apron. She looked at me, her dark eyes unblinking. She said nothing. She just got up from the table, her joints creaking a little.
She gonna
and
get
walked
that
past me
money.
down the short hallway into her bedroom.
Auntie
I
gonna
heard
do
the
it.
door squeak open.
Always.
I panicked. Was she mad at me?
No, she
Did
wasn't.
she
You
think
know
I
what
was
she
a fool for
finna
even
do.
being in this situation?
Watch
She
this.
came back out a moment later. She was
She's got
holding a
that
long
bread.
white envelope. It was
Yeah.
crumpled soft from being handled so many times. On the front, in her shaky cursive handwriting, were the words, "Rent
Rent money."
money." She walked over to me and held it out. It's not 2,000, she said, her voice quiet but firm. It's all I got right now. It's $650. It's for my rent due on the 1st. But you take it. I stared at the envelope. I stared at her face. I
would
couldn't
have
speak.
cried.
Take it, child, she insisted. It'll at least buy you some time. You can sleep
Take
here on the sofa. It pulls out. It ain't much, but it's safe. We can go to the food bank tomorrow, and we'll go to that church on Tuesday, the one that helps with utilities. We'll figure it out. Together.
That's
I
what
recoiled, pulling
what?
my hands back like the envelope was on fire. No, Miss Evelyn, no. I can't. I can't take your rent money. You need it. You'll be in trouble. I was stammering, horrified. This
Yeah.
68-year-old woman living on her tiny Social
God will
Security
put
check,
you to the
and what
test.
she made from bake sales was offering me the very money she needed to keep her own roof over her head. The thing my mother with her paid-off house and my brother with his 70-inch TV wouldn't even discuss. Ms. Evelyn's face hardened, but not with anger, with determination. She grabbed my hand. Her grip was surprisingly strong. She shoved the envelope into my palm and closed my fingers around it. You listen to me, Amani Carter, she said, leaning in close. Her eyes were fierce.
I would have paid her rent. I would buy her
$1
house.
is just $1. But your dignity,
Yes.
that's something else.
Yes.
You don't let nobody take that from you.
Yes.
She squeezed my hand tighter.
I
Your
need to
big
watch
mama.
this.
Althea, she would never let you sleep on the street. Not while there was breath in her body. And not while there's breath in mine. She looked me dead in the eye, and her next words hit me harder than the lottery ticket. Family ain't just blood, baby.
That's
Family
right.
is the hand that pulls you up.
That's
It's
right.
not the one that pushes you down. I looked at the crumpled envelope in my hand. $650. It was the most money I had ever seen in my life. I just broke. I fell into her. I buried my face in the soft cotton of her apron and I sobbed. I mean, I
Yeah.
sobbed. That deep, racking,
All that
ugly
money.
cry
Now you gotta
almost
tell
almost
Auntie.
walked away. This was the
Yeah.
first time I had cried since I saw the $88 million notification. Winning all that money, it was a shock.
Man.
It was a relief. But it wasn't emotional. This was emotional. This small, poor 68-year-old woman who had
That's a
nothing
black woman.
was offering me everything.
That is a
Miss
black
Evelyn didn't
woman.
pat my back. She didn't shush me. She just put her strong arms around me and held me. She held me like I was something precious,
You
like I
are.
was worth holding.
You are.
I got you, child, she whispered, her voice rough. I got you.
Don't
You just
miss
let it
Evelyn.
all out. I cried for my mother, who saw me as a burden. I cried for my brother, who saw me as a joke. I cried for the last 32 years of my life of me trying so hard and never ever being enough for them. After a long time, my sobs quieted down to shudders. I pulled back, my face wet, my voice thick and muffled. Why? I whispered. Why are you always so nice to me? They hate me. Ms. Her expression soft. First off, they don't hate you, she said, pulling a paper towel from the roll on her counter and handing it to me. They're just fools. And second, I ain't nice to you. I love you. I love you because I see you. I always have. Just like Big Mama did. I wiped my nose and the memory hit me so fast it was like a physical jolt. You
Big Mama friend.
You really do? I said, my voice catching again.
Girl, she just
You,
gave you all her money.
you're the only one who ever did. Do you remember my junior prom? A small, slow smile spread across her face. I remember. You were 17 years old. I was 17. I said the memory as clear as if it were yesterday. And I wanted one thing. Just one. There was this dress at the mall. It was dark green. It wasn't fancy, but it was beautiful. It was $50. Just $50. I could hear my mother's voice, sharp and dismissive, echoing in my head. $50 for a dress you're gonna wear one time, Imani. That is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. You are not going to that prom. That is final. I don't have $50 to just throw away. My voice broke. She wouldn't give it to me. She said it was a waste. I remember, Miss Evelyn said, her voice quiet. But the next day, I said the injustice of it still stinging after all these years. The very next day, I was in the kitchen doing my homework, and I heard her on the phone with my Aunt Darlene. She was laughing. She was so proud. She said, "Girl, I just had to give Jamal $200 for a new pair of sneakers, some Jordans. He said all the boys at school had them, and I gotta make sure my son looks sharp." I looked at Miss Evelyn with the trail fresh all over again. $200 for sneakers that he wore out in 6 months, but $50 for my prom was a waste of money. So I came here. I continued, gesturing around the small, warm apartment. I came here and I sat right on that sofa, and I cried. I told you I wasn't going to go. I was going to stay home and just pretend I was sick. And what did I do, Miss? Evelyn asked, her eyes twinkling like she was prompting me in a play. You went into your bedroom, I said, a small, watery smile forming on my face. You went into your closet, and you pulled out that old dress, the one you wore to your sister's wedding in 1990. It was that deep blue velvet, and you said, "This here is way better than that cheap green thing at the mall." And you stayed up all night, I whispered, touching her hand. You sat at that little sewing machine in the corner, and you took it in. You cut the puffy sleeves off. You added those little beads from that old purse you had. You made it fit me.
That's your auntie.
Miss Evelyn chuckled a low, warm sound.
I need to see this.
And you looked like a queen in that dress. An
Miss
absolute
Evelyn
queen.
is a queen.
When you walked down those stairs, I said, "That's Alfamani, you listen to me. Your mother. She's got a blind spot. A big one. She has spent her whole life chasing after that boy, trying to make him into something he ain't. And in all that chasing, she couldn't see the treasure she already had right in front of her." She poked my chest. She looked off for a second, then back at me. They're just
jealous.
blind. They only like cheap glitter, things that shine on the outside but got nothing on the inside. You ain't glitter.
Yeah.
You're the diamond. Don't you ever forget that.
That's right.
I looked at her. Really looked at her. This woman.
Is she the one?
This was family. This was the hand pulling me up. I took a deep breath. The last of the tears were gone. The despair I felt when I walked in here, it was gone, burned away.
Tell her.
And in its place, something else was forming. Something cold and hard and very, very clear. Clarity. I picked up the crumpled white envelope from my lap, the $650. I gently but firmly placed it back in her hand. "Now I told you," she started, trying to push it back. "No," I said. My voice was different. It wasn't weak. It wasn't trembling. It was calm. You need this. This is your home. Imani, I will not." "Miss Evelyn," I said, closing her fingers over the envelope. "You just gave me something worth more than any amount of money. You just reminded me who I am. And I think I know what to do. I remembered. I have a resource. Something I forgot about. I'm going to be okay. I promise." It was a lie, but it was the truest thing I'd ever said. I was going to be okay. I stood up. I felt taller. "I will never, ever be able to thank you for this," I said. She stood up with me. "You just go and be the diamond you are. That's all the thanks I need." I hugged her one last time tight. "I love you, Miss Evelyn." "I love you too, child. Now go on. Handle your business." I walked out of her apartment. I walked down the 3 flights of stairs. I got back into my old rattling Honda Civic. I sat there in the driver's seat under the dim yellow streetlights. I looked at my reflection in the dark windshield. The tear tracks were already drying. The puffy-eyed, desperate woman who had knocked on Miss Evelyn's door was gone. In her place was someone else. Her face was set. Her eyes were not sad. They were not angry. They were determined. They were the eyes of a woman who had just been handed a sword. My mother's words came back to me. Handle your own business. My brother's words. That's your job. Miss Evelyn's words. Go on. Handle your business. Okay, I whispered to the empty car. I will. The test was over. The despair was gone. This was no longer a test. It was a trap. I picked up my phone, the one with the $45 million banking app. I scrolled through my contacts, right past Jamal, right past Mom, until I found the new number I had added last week, the one saved under Mr. W. I pressed the call button. It rang twice. A crisp, professional voice answered. Law offices of Hakeem Washington. How may I direct your call? My voice when I spoke was unrecognizable. It was cold. It was clear. It was the voice of a CEO. The voice of a diamond. Hello, I said. I need to speak with Mr. Hakeem Washington directly. It's urgent. May I ask who is calling? Yes? I said, staring straight ahead at the dark street. My name is Imani Carter. One moment, Miss Carter. I held the line. I didn't fidget. I didn't breathe hard. I just waited. Imani, is everything all right? His voice was smooth concern. Everything is fine, Mr. Washington, I said. In fact, things have just become very clear. Something has come up that requires your immediate attention. Oh, yes, I said. It's regarding an inheritance, a property left to me by my grandmother, Althea Carter. It seems my family, my mother and my brother, are attempting to fraudulently acquire my share. There was a pause on the line. I could hear the faint sound of him typing. I see. He said, his voice all business now. And what did you have in mind? I looked at my own reflection again, and for the first time, I smiled. Oh, I said, I have a plan, a very specific plan. It's going to require your creative legal expertise, and it's going to be based on a very, very large financial foundation. I'm listening, Miss Carter. When do you want to meet? First thing tomorrow morning, I said. They thought I needed $2,000. They're about to find out just how wrong they were. I waited. I let an entire day go by. I let them imagine me desperate cold sleeping in my car. I let them savor their victory. I needed my performance to be perfect. I needed to sound utterly, completely beaten. I sat in my car, parked around the corner from my apartment. I took a few deep breaths, summoning the voice of the old Imani, the one who was small and scared and had no options. Then I dialed Jamal's number. I put the phone on speaker so I could hear everything. He picked up on the third ring. What? His voice was annoyed. He was screening my calls. Jamal, I said, and I was proud of how my voice cracked. I made it high, thin, and watery, like I'd been crying for 24 hours. Jamal, it's me. Please, please don't hang up. Imani, I told you I can't help you. No, wait, I said, forcing a sob into my throat. You were right. You and Mom, you were right. I can't make it. I have nowhere to go. I'll do it. There was a pause. Do what? He asked, his voice suddenly sharp, cautious. The house, I whispered as if I was ashamed. Big Mama's house. You said you wanted to sell it. I'll sign the papers. I'll sign anything. I need the money. I need it right now. The line went completely silent. I could hear his muffled hand cover the receiver. I heard him whisper, she'll do it. She's caving. And then I heard Ashley's distinct, triumphant laugh in the background. It was a high, sharp, ugly sound. A moment later, Jamal was back on the line. His voice had completely transformed. It was gone, the annoyance. In its place was that slick, smooth, fake, sympathetic tone, the one he always used when he thought he was in charge. Oh, Imani, sis, listen, that's a good decision, a smart decision. See, I told Mom you'd come around. That's what family does. We pull together, we make the smart moves. I just need the money, I repeated, letting my voice tremble. And you're in luck, he said, jumping on it. I've already been working on it. For us. I've got an investor friend who's interested. He's a cash buyer. He's willing to take the property as is. You know, with the bad roof and all that, he'll give us $150,000 for it. Cash. We can close in just a few days. $150,000. I had to physically bite the inside of my cheek to keep from laughing out loud. The number was an insult. He didn't know. He didn't know that my job for the last 3 years, my secret second job, wasn't just being an admin. It was being a remote paralegal specializing in property law. He didn't know that I knew exactly what Big Mama's house was worth. It wasn't just some rotting house. It was in Vine City, 10-year park. Developers were bulldozing entire blocks and putting up $800,000 townhomes. Mr. Washington, the lawyer, had pulled the comps just that morning. As is, with the leaky roof and the boarded up windows, that property was worth $700,000. Easy. And my brother, my flesh and blood, was trying to buy my share based on a valuation of $150,000. He was trying to steal over $500,000 from his own family. I let out another fake watery sniffle. I did the math out loud, playing the part of the desperate fool. 150. But, Jamal, that's only $50,000 for me. Hey, he said, his voice a little too cheerful. 50 grand is 50 grand, sis. That's a hell of a lot more than you got right now, right? It'll get you out of this mess. Get you a new apartment, a new start. It's a great deal. Before I could even answer, I heard a rustle, and Ashley's sharp voice came on the line. She must have ripped the phone right out of his hand. Imani Tunga, she said, her voice like poison syrup. Let's just be real. We are doing you a massive favor here. That $150K is the total price, yes. But Jamal has been doing all the work. He's the one who found the buyer. He's the one who's been talking to the lawyers. He's the one who's going to have to pay the $3,000 in back taxes first. You haven't done anything. I knew where this was going. The hook was in. Now she was reeling the line. What do you mean? I whispered. I mean, she said, her voice suddenly cold and hard, all the fake sweetness gone. Jamal has to be paid for his time, his services, the legal fees, the finder's fee, all of that comes. Your part, your take home, is $20,000. $20,000 for my $230,000 share. It was so greedy, so shamelessly criminal. It was beautiful. It was exactly what I needed. 20,000, I stammered. That's the offer, she snapped. Take it or leave it. We'll sell our 2/3 and we'll just let your share sit there and get taken by the county for the unpaid taxes. Then you get nothing. Your choice. We're trying to help you, Imani. This was the moment. The final turn of the screw. I closed my eyes. I pictured Miss Evelyn's face. I pictured the $50 prom dress. I pictured the $200 Jordans. I took a deep, shuddering breath. The performance of my life. Okay, I whispered. What? I can't hear you. Speak up, she demanded. Okay, I cried, letting my voice crack with fake desperation. Okay, yes, 20,000. I'll take it. I'll sign. I need it. I really need it. Please. There was a beat of dead silence, and then I heard it. A small, satisfied of a laugh from Ashley. She had won. See, she said. That wasn't so hard, was it? Jamal will text you the time and the address for the signing tomorrow. It's a title office his friend uses. Don't be late. She hung up. The call ended. I sat there in the total silence of my car, staring at the blank phone screen. A slow, cold smile spread across my face. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of a hunter who had just watched the wolf walk right into the cage. Hook, I whispered to my reflection. Line and sinker. The trap was set. Jamal's text came the next morning. The address wasn't a law firm. It wasn't a real estate agency. It was a document and notary express in a sad, half-empty strip mall off the highway right next to a check cashing place and a store that sold wigs. The fluorescent lights inside hummed, casting a sick yellow-green light on everything. The air smelled like burnt coffee and dusty carpets. It was the perfect place to do something shady. They were already there, sitting in two stained plastic chairs, looking like a king and queen holding court in a dumpster. Jamal in his new Jordans, and Ashley in a bright pink tracksuit, scrolling through her phone, looking bored. A large, sweaty man sat behind a cheap folding table, a notary public sign propped up in front of him. He didn't even look up when I walked in, just grunted. Amani, sis, you made it. Jamal jumped up, his smile wide, and fake his eyes darting around. He was nervous. Good. Ashley didn't get up. She just sighed, a long, impatient sound. Good. Let's get this over with. Some of us have appointments. Jamal grabbed a thick stack of papers from the table and pushed it towards me, along with a cheap blue pen that had a fake flower taped to the end. All right, this is it, he said, trying to sound official. You just sign here, here, and on the last page. The notary guy will stamp it, and I'll give you the money. I got it right here. He patted the breast pocket of his jacket, which was bulging in a comical, obvious way. $20,000 in cash. The bait. I played my part. I looked at the stack of papers, and I let my eyes go wide. I let my hands start to tremble. Wow. Jamal, that's so many pages. I stammered, my voice small and reedy. I don't understand any of this. Can I read it first? Jamal's fake smile tightened. He was about to snap at me, but Ashley just couldn't help herself. She let out a loud, theatrical sigh, loud enough for the notary to hear. She stood up, walked over, and put her arm around my shoulder. It wasn't a hug. It was a gesture of complete and total control. Oh, Imani, she cooed, her voice dripping with that sickly, sweet, condescending tone, the one she always used when she was about to be especially cruel. Chung Ah, don't try to read it. Seriously, it's all legal mambo jumbo, lawyer talk, here and after, and party of the first part, and all that stuff. You wouldn't understand any of it. It's just a waste of our time. She patted my shoulder, her acrylic nails clicking on my shirt. It just says, you agree to sell, we agree to buy. That's it. Simple. You wouldn't understand any of it. That's what she thought. That's what they had always thought. Imani, the simple admin. Imani, the Instacart driver. Imani, the family ATM, who was too dumb to know any better. What they didn't know, what they couldn't know, was that my admin job at the dental clinic was just my day job. My real job, the one I did remotely from my laptop 3 nights a week for the past 3 years, was as a paralegal for a high-powered real estate law firm based in Chicago. I specialized in contested estates. I had read written and analyzed contracts more complex than this before breakfast. My eyes scanned the first page. It took me 1.5 seconds to see the truth. My blood didn't just run cold, it turned to ice. She was right. I didn't understand. I didn't understand how they could be this stupidly, monstrously greedy. Ashley had lied. This wasn't a purchase agreement. This wasn't a power of attorney for him to sell the house. The title in big, bold, capital letters at the top of page 1 was Disclaimer of Interest and Inheritance. My eyes flew down the page, touching the key phrases. Hereby permanently and irrevocably disclaims, renounces, and refuses to accept any and all rights, title, and interest in the estate of Althea Carter. They weren't buying my share. They were tricking me into surrendering it, giving it up, forfeiting my $233,000 inheritance for nothing. But where was the $20,000 I found it? It was a separate document stapled to the very back, a single handwritten page. It was a personal loan agreement. It stated that Jamal Carter was lending me, Amani Carter, the sum of $20,000, and that I agreed to repay the full amount plus 20% interest within 12 months. I had to read it twice. They weren't buying my share for $20,000. They were stealing my share for free, and then putting me $20,000 in their debt. It was so much worse than I had imagined. It was so much better. This wasn't just a bad deal. This wasn't just manipulation. This was criminal fraud. This was a slam dunk case. Mr. Washington was going to be delighted. I let my breath hitch. I let a fake tear well up in my eye. It looks really complicated, I whispered, looking up at them, my face a perfect mask of bewildered terror. Amani, Jamal finally snapped. His patience was gone. We don't have time for this. Just sign the paper. Okay, I will, I yelped, acting startled. I grabbed the cheap floral pen. I'm just so nervous. My hands are shaking, and right on cue, I fumbled. Oh, I gasped as the pen slipped from my trembling fingers. It bounced off the table and clattered onto the dirty floor. Oh no, I'm so sorry. I'm so stupid. Let me get it. I bent down, disappearing behind the folding table, and in that one perfect hidden moment, my hand darted to my jacket pocket. I pulled out my phone. My thumb was already resting on the voice memos icon. I pressed it. I hit the big red record button. The timer started. 001, 002. I slid the phone screen dark back into my shirt pocket, the microphone pointing right at them. I came back up, my face flushed, holding the pen like a prize. Got it, sorry. I stood there, my hand hovering over the first signature line, the one that would give away my inheritance. I looked at Ashley one last time, playing the part of the world's biggest fool. Okay, so, just so I'm clear, I said, my voice watery. I signed this, and this is for me to get the $20,000. For my part of Big Mama's house, right? That's what this is? Ashley let out a sound, a growl of pure, unadulterated impatience. She was so close. She could taste the $700,000. Yes, Imani, she yelled, her sharp white voice echoing in the tiny, quiet office. The notary didn't even flinch. That is exactly what it is. You sign the damn paper, we give you the 20 grand for the house. Now sign it, we have lunch reservations in Buckhead. Okay, I whispered. Okay. I looked down at the signature line. A small, tiny secret smile touched my lips. A smile they couldn't see. My hand, which had been trembling so badly just a second ago, was now perfectly, beautifully steady. Okay, I said again, my voice full of fake, broken relief. I'm signing. And the pen moved across the paper. The next morning, I was not in a strip mall. I was on the 40th floor of the tallest, shiniest glass building in Buckhead, the heart of Atlanta's old money and new wealth. The office of Hakeem Washington was a world of quiet, expensive power. The carpets were thick. The art on the walls was real. The view stretched all the way to Stone Mountain. I sat in a soft, black leather chair opposite his massive mahogany desk. I was not the same woman from yesterday. The old work polo was gone. I was wearing a simple dark gray sheath dress I'd bought for $800 that morning. My hair was pulled back in a sleek, severe bun. I felt calm. I placed my phone on his desk. The wood was so polished it looked like a black mirror. They took the bait, I said. My voice didn't echo. The room was designed to absorb sound. Mr. Washington, immaculate in a three-piece charcoal suit, leaned forward. He didn't smile. Not yet. You're certain? I pressed play on the voice memo. Ashley's sharp white voice, full of impatience and greed, suddenly filled the luxurious, quiet office. Yes, Imani. That is exactly what it is. You sign the damn paper, we give you the 20 grand for the house. Now sign it. We have lunch reservations in Buckhead. The recording clicked off. A slow, satisfied smile finally spread across Hakeem Washington's face. He leaned back in his chair. Textbook, he said, his voice smooth as velvet. That is textbook prosecutable criminal fraud, conspiracy, wire fraud, since you called them. Oh, this is beautiful, Miss Carter. Absolutely beautiful. They didn't just try to buy my share for 20,000 off, I said, my voice cold and even. They tricked me into signing a disclaimer of interest for nothing. And then they tried to make me sign a loan for the $20,000. Mr. Washington's smile vanished. He just stared at me. They did what. I slid the stack of papers I had accidentally taken from the notary's office across his desk. He put on a pair of gold-rimmed reading glasses and read the top pages. His eyes widened. He actually let out a low whistle. My, he said, your family is ambitious and incredibly stupid. This isn't just a slam dunk. This is a public execution. He folded his hands. Well, the trap is set. The evidence is secured. Now, we just have to send the invitations to the party. I nodded. I have 3 calls to make first. He gestured to the phone. My office is yours. I picked up my cell phone. My first call was to the one person who mattered. I dialed. She picked up on the second ring. Miss Evelyn. Hi, it's me. Yes, I'm okay. I'm more than okay, I promise. My voice softened, the ice melting completely. I have a strange question for you. That apartment building you're in, the Harmony Senior Lofts, do you like it there? I listened. I heard her small, confused laugh. Like it, child. It's a roof. The elevator's been broken for 6 years, and my new neighbors play that loud music. But it's a roof. Okay, I said. Okay, I saw a for rent sign in the window of the unit next to yours. I was just thinking. I paused. Your lease is up at the end of the month, right? Yes, ma'am. They already sent the renewal. Want to raise my rent by $50. Good, I said, cutting her off, but gently. Don't sign it. Whatever you do, do not sign that renewal. Can you promise me, Imani child, what is going on if I don't sign? Just trust me. Ms. Evelyn, I said, my voice warm and firm. I have a surprise for you. A good one. Just trust me for 1 more week. Okay. All right, baby. I trust you. I love you, Miss Evelyn. I love you too, child. I hung up. I took a deep breath. 1 down. I dialed the second number. A direct line. My voice changed. The warmth was gone. It was replaced by pure, cold business. This was the $45 million voice. Yes. Hello, may I speak to Mr. Harrison, please? Yes, I'll hold. I waited, my eyes meeting Mr. Washington's. He was watching me with a new, deep respect. Mr. Harrison. Hello. My name is Imani Carter. I'm the principal of the new Carter Althea Foundation. Yes, that Carter Althea. We spoke to your associate last week. Wonderful. I'm calling to confirm. I'm very interested in your fund for Black women-owned startups. Yes, I've reviewed the portfolio. I'm ready to move. I paused. I'd like to open our position. Let's start the initial investment with $5 million. I heard a sharp intake of breath on the other end of the line. Yes, 5. Million. I'll have my legal team led by Hakeem Washington send over the wire instructions this afternoon. A pleasure doing business with you, too. I hung up. Mr. Washington was just staring at me. 5 million, he said, a slow smile spreading. You don't start small, do you, Miss Carter? I looked out the window at the entire city spread out below me like a map. I've been small my whole life, Mr. Washington, I said quietly. I'm done with it. I took one more breath. Now, the final call. I dialed my mother's number. My face settled into a mask of cold, hard ice. Then, I let it crumble. I summoned the old Imani, the weak, stupid, watery-eyed girl. She picked up. Imani, what is it now? You got your money, didn't you? Jamal said you signed. My voice came out as a desperate, terrified wail. Mom! Mom! Oh my God! Mom! I think I made a terrible mistake. What? What are you talking about? She snapped. The papers. I cried, letting a real sob catch in my throat. I read the papers, Mom. The one at the end. It says it's a loan. It says I think Jamal and Ashley. I think they tricked me. There was a heavy sigh on the other end. Lord, child, you are so stupid sometimes. Please, Mom, you have to help me, I wailed. I don't have any money. And I signed away the house. I called a lawyer, a legal aid guy, and he said the paper isn't right. He said it's fraud. What he said, what? Her voice was suddenly sharp, afraid. We have to fix this, Mom, I cried. Please, we have to meet. All of us. You, me, Jamal, and Ashley. We have to meet at my lawyer's office. To make it right. Please, Mom. Imani, you. If we don't, I said, playing my final card. If we don't, my lawyer says he's going to sue. He's going to sue Jamal, and he told me not to leave Big Mama's house. He said I'm supposed to move in today and not let anyone sell it until we fix this. That was the hook. I wasn't just threatening them. I was threatening their $700,000 payday. I heard her muffled voice yell, Jamal, get in here. The little fool is trying to screw everything up. I heard Jamal's voice furious in the background. Ashley shrieked. Then my mother was back. Where? She spat. Where is this lawyer? I gave her the address. The 40th floor. The Buckhead Tower. Tomorrow, I whispered. At 10 a.m. She hung up on me. I placed the phone down on the desk. My hand was not shaking. I looked at Hakeem Washington. They'll be here, I said. How can you be so sure? He asked, already gathering his files. I let the ice come back into my voice. Because I just threatened their money. Because they think I'm stupid. They think I'm weak. And they think I hired some public defender they can bully and shout at. I stood up, smoothing down my new dress. They're not coming here to negotiate, Mr. Washington. They're coming here to laugh in my face one last time. Hakeem Washington stood up too. He smiled. Oh, I do love this job, he said. The invitations are sent. The stage is set. The conference room on the 40th floor was silent. The kind of quiet that costs a lot of money. The table was a single massive piece of mahogany, polished so dark and deep, it reflected the entire Atlanta skyline like a mirror. I sat on one side. They sat on the other. They had walked in a few minutes ago, looking small and loud against the backdrop of glass and quiet well. Jamal was wearing his only suit, a shiny polyester blend thing that was too tight in the shoulders. Ashley was beside him in a bright, tight leopard print dress that was completely wrong for 10 o'clock in the morning. And my mother Brenda sat stiffly in her good church suit, her purse clutched in her lap like a shield. They looked cheap. They looked out of place. I, on the other hand, was not the woman they had seen in the strip mall. The old polo shirt and the terrified, watery eyes were gone. I was wearing a dark, custom-tailored suit. My hair was pulled back into a severe, elegant bun. I looked like I belonged there. I looked like a CEO. Next to me sat Hakeem Washington in his immaculate three-piece suit. He looked like he owned the building. Next to him, his two associates, a man and a woman, were quietly arranging neat stacks of paper. Jamal wouldn't look at me. He was too busy staring at the view, pretending he wasn't impressed. My mother was studying the wood grain on the table, her lips pursed. But Ashley, she could never resist. I saw her lean in close to Jamal, cupping her hand over her mouth. Her voice, however, was a sharp, clear whisper that cut right across the silent room. "Where'd she even find this lawyer?" she hissed, gesturing at Mr. Washington with a flick of her eyes. "He looks expensive. She's probably wasting her last paycheck." She looked at me, a cruel, satisfied smirk on her face. "Look at her. She looks like she's about to cry." I wasn't about to cry. My hands were folded perfectly still on the dark, cool wood in front of me. I said nothing. The silence stretched. My mother hated silence she couldn't control. She let out a long, impatient sigh, the sigh of a mother who was about to scold a difficult child. She rapped her knuckles on the table, a sharp, impatient thump, thump, thump that sounded obscene in the quiet room. "Imani," she snapped. Her voice was loud, demanding. "I do not know what kind of childish game you think you are playing, dragging us all the way up here to this ridiculous office. You are wasting everyone's time." She pointed a finger at me. "Your little legal aid lawyer called. We're here. We're fixing your mess. Now are you going to sign the real papers, or are you going to keep making a fool of yourself?" I remained perfectly still. I let my mother's words hang in the expensive, silent air. "Sign the real papers." Hakeem Washington leaned forward, folding his hands on the polished mahogany. His voice was calm, smooth, and cut through the tension like a blade. "Good morning, everyone," he said, his voice filling the room. "We are here to discuss." "There's nothing to discuss, counselor." He reached into his shiny suit jacket and pulled out the crumpled, folded stack of papers I had signed in the strip mall. He threw it onto the center of the massive table. It slid across the polished wood and stopped a sad, cheap-looking thing in this temple of wealth. "It's already resolved," Jamal said, leaning back in his chair, crossing his arms. He was trying to look like a boss. Imani agreed. She signed. She's disclaiming her inheritance. It's done. Mr. Washington looked at the stack of papers. He didn't touch it. He didn't even lean in to read it. He just looked at it. Then he looked up, his eyes locking on Jamal. "That contract," he said, his voice flat and cold, "is invalid. It was obtained under fraudulent pretenses." The shift in the room was electric. Jamal's smirk vanished. My mother sat bolt upright. "Ashley." Ashley exploded. She shot up from her chair, her hands slamming down on the table. "What?" she shrieked, her voice bouncing off the glass walls. "Fraud! She's the one who's lying. That little... She begged us. She was crying. She was getting kicked out on the street. She needed that $20,000. She agreed to it." Mr. Washington held up a single calm hand. "She agreed? To what exactly, Ms. Ashley?" "To..." "To give us her part of the house. For the money, she agreed." "Did she?" Mr. Washington said. It wasn't a question. He reached down to a small black speakerphone in the center of the table, a device my family hadn't even noticed. He pressed a single glowing button, and Ashley's own voice, sharp and greedy, filled the $10,000 an hour conference room. "Yes, we have lunch reservations in Buckhead." The recording clicked off. The silence that followed was absolute. It was deafening. Jamal's face went completely white. The blood just drained out of it. He looked like he had been punched in the stomach. Ashley's mouth was open, her jaw slack. She looked truly, genuinely stupid. My mother, Brenda, just stared at the small black speaker. Her hands were trembling. She turned her head, moving in one slow, robotic motion, until her eyes fixed on her son. "Jamal," she whispered, her voice a dry, rasping sound. "Jamal, what? What did you do?" Jamal was trying to speak. His mouth opened and closed. I, it was, Mom, I finally spoke. It was the first time they had heard my voice all morning. It was not the voice of the crying girl in the strip mall. It was the voice of the woman with $45 million. It was cold. It was clear. And it cut them to pieces. I said my words, dropping like stones into the silence, trying to steal my 1/3 share of a $700,000 property. I looked at Ashley. And that $20,000, the loan, I never even received it. Jamal flinched. Ashley, however, found her voice. The panic and greed were warring in her face, and the greed won. So what? She screamed, her voice cracking. So what? You still signed it. You don't have a dime. You're broke. You're living in your car. You need us. You need that money. You'll still be homeless without us. She was panting, her face red, her chest heaving. She was still trying to bully me, still trying to win. I leaned back in my soft, expensive leather chair. I looked at her, and for the first time I let myself smile. A slow, cold, pitying smile. That's the funniest part, Ashley. I said, my voice quiet, conversational. That's the part you're just not getting. I looked at her and then at Jamal and then at my mother. I don't need $2,000. I let the words hang there. Then I nodded to Mr. Washington. He reached into a pristine black leather portfolio. He pulled out a single sheet of paper. He slid it with one smooth, practiced motion across the dark polished table. It glided over the wood and stopped, right in front of my mother. My mother, Brenda, frowned. She fumbled in her purse and pulled out her reading glasses, the cheap dollar store kind. She put them on her hands, shaking so badly it took her 2 tries. She leaned in. She stared at the paper. What? What is this? She whispered. That Mr. Washington, said his voice a polite, deadly purr, is a certified bank statement for Miss Carter's private account. As of 9 a.m. this morning. Brenda squinted. She started to read the number. Her lips moved, forming the words silently. Then she whispered them out loud. 4, 40, 45, million. Her head snapped up. She looked at me. Her eyes were wide, uncomprehending. $400,000. She stopped. She couldn't breathe. She made a sound, a small, gasping sound, like a fish pulled from water. Her hand went to her chest, and she fell back into her chair, her entire body seeming to shrink. Jamal just stared, frozen. Ashley. Ashley snatched the paper off the table. She held it up to her face, her eyes scanning it wildly. No, she shrieked. No, this is fake. It's, where did you get this? Did you rob a bank? I just looked at her. All the fear was gone. All the pain. All the years of being small. They were over. Powerball. I said, my voice clear and calm. The $88 million jackpot. 3 weeks ago. Dead. Silence. The only sound was the faint gasp, gasp, gasp of my mother trying to get air. Jamal and Ashley just stared. But it was a new stare. The confusion was gone. It was replaced by something else. A dawning, sickening horror. They understood. They finally understood. The $2,000 test, the desperation, the crying, the stupid girl who couldn't read the contract. It was all a trap. And they had walked right into it, their mouths wide open, dripping with greed. Ha! Imani, sis! He stammered, trying to stand up, trying to smile. Sis, that's amazing. We were just testing you. Yeah, that was our test to see if you were still we were just kidding. Oh my God, congratulations. He was sweating, his eyes wide with pure animal panic. I stood chair didn't make a sound on the thick carpet. I looked down at my brother, my mother, my sister-in-law, the people who had let me bleed. No, Jamal, I said. I was testing you. I looked at Mr. Washington. He stood up too. All business. As I said, he began, this contract is void. It was obtained through a conspiracy to commit fraud, wire fraud, and, frankly, a stunning amount of predatory behavior. Given the audio recording and the documents, Ms. Carter has two options. He looked at Jamal and Ashley. His voice was like a judge's gavel. Option 1, criminal prosecution. We hand this file, the recording, the fraudulent contract, the loan agreement, over to the district attorney's office. Given the evidence, I am positive that both you, Mr. Carter, and you, Miss Ashley, will be facing significant federal prison time. Ashley turned a shade of gray I had never seen before. She grabbed the table to keep from falling. The woman who had told me I was dramatic. I looked at her and I felt nothing, just cold. Option 2, I said, my voice cutting through her whimpers. A civil solution. I looked at my brother. I'm not going to send my only brother to federal prison. Jamal let out a huge shuddering breath. The relief was so total he almost collapsed. Oh God, Amani, sis, thank you. Thank you. I said, cutting him off. We'll be taking your 2/3 of Big Mama's house. The relief on their faces vanished. What? Jamal and my mother screamed in unison. A civil solution, Mr. Washington said, his voice smooth. He was enjoying this. To avoid criminal prosecution, Mr. Jamal Carter and Mrs. Brenda Carter will agree to sell their respective 1/3 shares of the Vine City property to my client, Ms. Imani Carter. He paused, letting the words sink in. For the total sum of $20,000. He slid 2 new, perfectly drafted contracts across the table. Exactly the price you two decided her share was worth. Jamal just stared his mouth open. But Ashley found her voice again. It was a raw, primal scream of pure, unadulterated rage. No, she shrieked, pointing at me. No, you can't. That is robbery. That's our house. That house is
Say
worth
bye to the
$700,000.
bag there.
You